Ah, hmm. No, 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 no. Hello, friends. Atmo-Gita. Where am I? Where am I going? Oh, I'm going for a walk with what? Yeah. Let's see. Atmo refers to Atmopadesha Shatakam. Atmo refers to the self, like Atman with a capital S, self with a capital S. Padesha, Atmopadesha, Atmopadesha. Hmm. I think Padesha is a part of a word that refers to getting instruction on it. Hmm. And the katakam is means 100 verses. Hmm. Yeah, like that number, a nice round number, 100, and divided in half in quarters. Hmm. Where am I? In the Atmopadesha Shatakam, I'm like maybe you could read it in 10 minutes. No, maybe less. You read it real fast. Maybe it takes 5 minutes. Maybe less. Uh, but the commentary for each verse is like 6 to 8 pages of. Well, it came from a talk that Guru Nitya Chaitanya Yati gave. And it's only maybe an hour or so talk each. And somebody recorded the audio and then got the transcripts and edited into a book called That Alone. So the commentary is on that alone. That as in the absolute we are. Alone. Alone. What does that word mean? What does the word alone mean? Oh, it's referring to I think it's the second to the last verse. It uses the phrase that alone. So we'll have to check it out. But the subtitle of the book, That Alone, is the, I think it means it's the core of wisdom. Hmm. Maybe you could think of it as kind of a Ajna Paramita book. No, maybe not quite. Maybe comparable. No, maybe not. Maybe wisdom means something else in Buddhism. Or they think of it in another way. You think of knowledge in Hinduism, knowledge. I would say you have knowledge, like spiritual knowledge, knowledge of the way things work, knowledge of the principles of life, maybe. Huh. uh, so, Atmo-Padesha Shatakam, I think I'm around verse 25 under the guidance of Scott Tatesworth and his students. Wow. Okay. No, 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 no. No, no. No. No, no, no. No. Aldo. Okay. Yes, Naya, the dog. Sorry for the noise. Uh, they, I was just thinking, looking at these wonderful. Can you see? Oh, can you see back there? There's a lake back there. These wonderful landscapes, but this requires lots of maintenance, landscaping, and then landscaping has to be done how often? Maybe once a week. So when they do it, it's very noisy. Oh, we have to suffer the noise. Let me sit down. Hmm. So if there is no creator, why does the universe exist? That's a Buddhist answer. It's a Buddhism podcast. Hmm. See if I can. Oh, yeah, let's start here. Oh, here's the transcript. O and A. Oh shit! Can't see. Oh boy. See if I can join with this. Oh, okay, so I'm back. I switched over to another phone. It's got more charge. That's an interesting video. See if I can switch over to the video. Can't even see it. So, I'll share video. Ah, I get I get distracted. Right? Okay, so I moved my video I was interested in over to my WhatsApp. So I got it. So you can open it, copy link. So you can go over to let's see, Firefox. Okay, now yes, so open the video to that mode. Okay, so oh shit, wrong video. Shit. There's no God. What is the university is? Oh, oh, okay. We got a different picture. Interesting. Here, hold on. Hold on. I got something. I hope I can get it out. Wow, it's a long transcript. I'm trying to copy all the transcript. Copying. Okay, I copied it. I'm going to ah, Wonder if I got Note plus plus. Notepad plus plus. Let's see where I have it. Notes. Note. 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 Got notebook. Notepad. Simple note. Try this one. Yeah. Mm. Okay, so I got it. Oh, okay, so I'm going to go to Zoom and share the screen. Share the screen. Screen. Here. Share entire screen. Start. Okay. And go over here. So, Creator God. So, why does the universe exist? So, I'll actually edit that. If there is no Creator God, why does the universe exist? A gentle Buddhist answer. Chapter 1. The human longing. Who made this? There is a moment, quiet and persistent, that comes to almost every human being. We look up at the stars. We sit alone after someone we loved has passed, and the question slowly rises. Who made all this? It's not just curiosity, it's something deeper. We long for meaning behind the chaos, a guiding hand in this storm when life becomes uncertain. The idea of someone powerful watching over us, bringing profound comfort, making us feel less alone in the vastness. This natural longing stems from deep-seated human tendency. From an early age, we are taught that everything comes from somewhere. House is built by a builder, a book is written by a writer. So looking at something as vast as the universe, it is instinctively natural to ask, who created this? This impulse is rooted in what psychologists call agency detection. Our brains evolved to notice intention. If the grass rustles, is it just the wind or a hidden tiger? Hmm, this survival instinct now extends to the cosmos. Hmm. We look at galaxies and think, someone must have placed them. With awe often comes the question, who made this? The Buddha understood this tendency. There's a story in the Buddhist text about Brahma Baka, a celestial being who, due to vast stretches of existence in a high realm, believed he was the eternal creator. The Buddha visited him, gently revealing that even this God was caught in delusion and rebirth, a result of his limited view and forgetfulness of the causes that brought him there. It is a profound moment, a God thinking he is all powerful, being reminded he too is caught in the web of conditions. Different cultures and traditions have answered this fundamental human question in various ways. So, in the theistic religions, there's a divine being who created the universe, a God who made everything, giving it purpose and control. This view offers not just a story of creation, but a deep emotional anchor. You were made on purpose, you matter, someone is in control. Science offers a different explanation. Modern physics suggests the universe began with a big bang, a point where space, time, and energy exploded into being. Yet even brilliant minds like Stephen Hawking admitted the mystery remains. What was before the Big Bang? What caused it? He explored how physics might allow the universe to arise from a nothing that is actually a deep, fertile potential governed by laws we are only beginning to grasp. Then there's the Buddhist way of seeing. Here, the question itself begins to shift. Buddhism doesn't ask who made this, instead, it asks what causes this moment to arise. Mhm. Interesting. So the focus moves from an external creation to internal conditions, distant force to immediate patterns. This profound shift happens because Buddhism seeks not to build a cosmic story, but to help us understand why we suffer and how we can stop. When asked the cosmic origin questions, the Buddha often stayed silent, not because he didn't know, but because such questions, though intellectually fascinating, don't lead to freedom. They keep the mind spinning in thought, never touching what truly matters. In the Chulamalukya Sutta, the Buddha explained that asking about the world's infinitude or a soul's existence after death is like being shot by a poison arrow. Oh, and, I have to check. Wow, this hmm, this transcript is pretty good. It put the diacritical marks over the Sanskrit or Pali word Chulamalukya. I'm not sure if that's right though. I have to look it up. So it's like the world's infinitude or soul's existence after death, like being shot by a poison arrow and refusing treatment until you know its maker wood and feathers. You die before finding out. The Buddha explicitly states these are not useful questions for liberation. He wasn't dismissing the mind's wonder, but redirected it towards what heals, understanding how easily that thirst for abstract meaning can turn into confusion. So instead of asking who made the universe, Buddhism asks what's happening right now and why. Why do we suffer? So the search turns inward. It moves from the stars in the sky to the thoughts in the mind. And still the question lingers. If there's no creator, then where did all this come from? How can such a complex, beautiful universe exist without someone behind it? To understand how Buddhism works, you need to look at its view of time, space, and the nature of reality itself, and a straight line or a single act. something endlessly moving. That's where the idea of cycles begin to take shape. No creator, the universe of conditions. Chapter 2. No creator. Our minds are like clean starts. They break birth the very first moment. So when told there was no first moment, the mind resists. He wants a spark, a crater, a point where everything started, but that's not how the Buddha describes reality. He taught that this universe and everything in it has no single start. Instead, it moves in vast cycles of existence, arising, fading, returning. This endless turn of birth and death, known as samsara. Mhm. And Buddhism encompasses not just our personal lives, but the whole cosmos. So that means planets, galaxies, heavens, and hells. In the Asusutta, Buddha said, unimaginable is the beginning of samsara. Not known, but unimaginable, because it simply doesn't exist in the way we think. This perspective reveals the universe not as a fixed object, but as a flowing, living process, and we are intimately part of it. Everything arises not from divine command, but from conditions coming together. Think of a wave forming from wind and water, not from nowhere, not from the Creator's decree, but from a precise interplay of elements. This is how the universe operates, a dynamic, self organizing system, constantly shifting, flowing, and responding. This way of seeing lines in some way with modern science. Einstein, for instance, never believed in a personal God, but deeply respected the inherent structure of reality. He saw harmony within the cosmos, interwoven patterns of time, space, and energy, where things arise due to the exact cause and effect. His awe wasn't aimed at a creator, but at the profound comprehensibility of natural laws governing everything. This idea is central in Buddhism. Every raindrop, heartbeat, every galaxy comes into being because something else made it possible. Oh, but you could say, instead of saying, here's my notes or my commentary, maybe we shouldn't think of what made something possible. We should think of it as what are the requirements for making this possible. In dependencies, what does this depend for its existence? So, if, for example, my life depended on, well, let's say when I die, what were the conditions for my death? What caused my death? The cause, well, not, you can say cause. What did my death depend on? Oh, it depended on my birth. Go from the end of life to the beginning of life. So it was caused by the birth of this life. Mhm. So that means this death is dependent upon this birth that is in the past. So the birth was what this death depends. So if we were to somehow remove our birth, then we won't have death. So how can we remove our birth? Well, we can imagine that we've had countless lives, so we've never had a birth. So that eliminates our death because if if we if we let's see, what should I say? If we I'm trying to think. If we hmm, How can I express this? So, if we conceptually remove that there is no real birth to our mm, very subtle mind, mm, there is no birth to it. In other words, our consciousness did not have a birth. It just kind of got transferred into this body. Transference of consciousness. POA. PHOWA. That's a Tibetan language word, Tibetan Buddhist concept, POA. And that means transference of consciousness. So we can, mm, there is a ritual that involves POA. I should try reading it one time. Anyway, so what I was trying to point out is that maybe it's more useful not to simply try to find the causes and conditions that bring about the result. We should look for essential, obvious, maybe even direct, maybe not so obvious, essential, obvious, uh, dependent, dependent. I'm trying not to say causes, dependent factors, dependent events. So the death depends on the birth. So, well, let's see, where was I? Well, I was reading around here. Nothing stands alone. This is the powerful truth. This exists because that exists. In Pali, this is known as Paticca Samutpada. Aha. Wow. Dependent origination. Yes, I was thinking about that. The 12 links of dependent origination. So imagine a spider web where every thread connects to every other. Touch one strand and the whole web trembles. That's how the universe works in Buddhist thought. There is no There, that's there is no beginning point, no central controller, just causes and effects, flowing and shaping each moment. What looks solid is merely many parts coming together, sustained for a while and then passing off. Dependent origination serves as a map, how things arise. From the smallest feeling to the largest galaxy, everything emerges from specific conditions. Nothing is born out of nothing, nor created in a single isolated. There is always a chain, a network of interdependencies. The 12 links of dependent origination, often applied to human suffering, also reveals how entire worlds appear, not because someone made them, but because causes and conditions gave rise to them. This principle applies universally. So you can use dependent, the 12 links of dependent origination can be applied. That's that's hard for me to grasp, that it could be applied to universally to the stars, the planets, thoughts, actions, time itself, they all arise together, not separately. Wow. They all arise together, not separate. So, does that mean that they all arose at the same time? Except when they arose would be a point in time. So we would have to go back further to figure out what uh what dependencies there were to bring about what's there. But the idea that they arose at the same time, that's uh that's mind boggling, mind expanding. Mhm. Reality at its core isn't built like a machine. It's woven like a field. Wait a minute. So I forgot to read this other part. So I read they all arise together, not separately. What is that? What is it that arises to what is it that arises together, not separate? That would be the stars, the planets, even thoughts, actions, and time itself. They those together. Oh wow. You mean there was thoughts at the same time as there are planets? That would mean that, could it be though, this idea of a creator God that created everything? It could be that there are many creator gods creating many things. So there's a creator God for a galaxy. There's a creator God for the set of planets. And there's sub creator gods, one creator God for each planet. And then there's thoughts. So thinkers create the thoughts. Supposedly, something creates them. What, uh, what causes thoughts to arise? I would have to think about that. Like if you take on the word thought and you plug it into the 12 dependent 12 links of dependent origination. If you could plug in the word thought, where would you place thought? Where is it? Where could it be placed? Or is it everywhere? Is it, or can it be expressed at, at certain points in the 12 links? But could one determine where in the 12 links of dependent origination thoughts exist? Oh boy, I don't know. I'll have to study deeply what the 12 links of dependent origination are. Maybe get a book on it. Maybe I already have a book on it, or maybe a chapter on it that I could study. So in the quantum world, particles don't exist in fixed places until they interact. They are defined by relationships. So everything is arising together, not separately. Modern science, especially quantum physics, echoes some of these ideas. In the quantum world, particles do not exist in fixed places until they interact. Quantum world, in the quantum world, particles do not exist in fixed places until they interact. They are defined by relationships. Hmm. Hmm. What we call matter isn't solid, but energy moving in patterns. Reality at its core isn't built like a machine, it's woven like a field. Woven like a field. In patterns. Energy is moving in patterns. May I add? Here's my commentary. May I add that energy is a kind of thought form. That's hard to imagine that could be. So, infinite. Reality at its core, reality at its core isn't built like a machine. It's woven like a field. Stephen Hawking, Stephen Hawkins, is it with a S at the end or without an S? Was the great physicist Stephen Hawkins or Hawking suggested the universe could have created itself due to the inherent laws of physics. I can't find a book. Hmm. Yeah. I can't find it. Looking for the doggy poop. Let's go home. Okay. I lost the doggy poop. This this is what's going on. I'm walking the dog, and the dog. I saw the dog pooping, so I went to get a dog poop bag, put it in my on my hand. So now I can't find the dog poop. It's on the grass. The grass is covered with leaves, and these the machines they're blowing leaves around. So maybe when they blow the leaves away, someone will find the poop. Maybe the leaves are covering the poop. Mm, that's the noise. Wow. Yeah. So Stephen Hawking suggested the universe could have created itself due to the inherent laws of physics, not by an external builder, but by rules allowing emergence from a quantum vacuum, a fertile potential, not truly nothing. In a strange way, this scientific nothing matches the Buddhist sunyata, emptiness. Not that nothing exists, but that nothing exists independently. That's what sunyata means. Nothing exists independently. And when one says this or that is empty, we're saying, as Buddhists, or as the way the Buddhist philosophers say, that means that this object is empty of inherent existence. In other words, it depends on causes and conditions. In other words, there goes the 12 links of dependent origination. But we must remind ourselves that in Buddhism, emptiness isn't really a scientific theory. It's a way of seeing or perceiving or understanding that frees the mind. So when we meditate on emptiness, on this and that being empty of inherent existence, we're looking back at what were the most important causes and conditions, and what does this object depend upon for its existence? Well, a lot of things, but then what items were needed for it to come about? Like I was saying, the object I was thinking about is my death. My death depends on my birth. So we got that out of the way. We were born. Hmm. You know the song "Born to Be Wild"? Born to be wild. Dun, 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 music. So the chorus, there's a long phrase saying "born to be wild." Perhaps we can, or I could, replace that phrase with "born to die." So there's there's die means death, and what does death depend upon? Birth. So born to die. Maybe I should say born to be dead. Born to be like born to be wild. We could say born to be dead, or maybe we could say born to be dying. Born to be dead, I guess, would be thought of that way. Born to be wild. It's maybe that's a statement of getting on a motorcycle or something and driving away and being free, making you feel like you were born to be free, to be wild, as in opposed to opposed to being a conservative, uh, being part of society. Oh, shit. No, 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 Naya, no, malo, 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 no, no, quite, quítelo, no, 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 malo, malo, no, Naya the dog grabbed on grabbed a bone from the street and started crunching on it. And I tried to knock it off her mouth. Finally got most of it. I don't want her to get sick or anything. What a relief. Okay, I'm walking home. Okay. Where was I reading? Yeah, I was reading that Buddhism, emptiness isn't a scientific theory. It's a way of seeing that frees the mind, recognizing there's no fixed self, no fixed object, no fixed moment. Everything is in constant motion, co-arising. Consider your breath. You didn't invent it, didn't design your lungs. Yeah, here you are breathing. The breath comes and goes, like waves, like winds. That's how the universe moves too, in patterns, in rhythms, always changing. This isn't a cold, mechanical view. In fact, it's deeply intimate. It reminds us you're not separate from the universe. We are part of its unfolding process. We are not watching the world from the outside. We are in it like a note in a song, rising when the music is right. The Buddha never asked for blind belief. He just pointed to the way things are. See for yourself. When you observe closely with stillness, you might notice the world doesn't need to be made to be meaningful. The world doesn't need to be made to be meaningful. Its meaning is found in the motion, in the interconnectedness. So the idea of a universe without a first spark isn't something to fear, something to sit with. In this stillness, the mind opens. The need for a beginning softens. What remains is clarity, understanding things as they are. Just like the breath, the universe doesn't need beginning to be real. It just needs conditions. And when those conditions come together, the wind moves across the ocean and the waves rise once again. And the six realms where consciousness can reappear. Oh, that's chapter 3, six realms. The Buddha's vision, a cosmos of karma. So some people think Buddhism avoids cosmic questions, but that's not true. The Buddha looked deeply into the universe, not to map stars, but to understand what keeps existence turning. He gave answers not for curiosity, but for clarity and less suffering. Through profound meditation, his mind became a mirror, reflecting the intricate dance of creation and dissolution across countless dimensions. When the Buddha awakened under the Bodhi tree, he saw how all things arise and pass, the entire worlds. His vision, rooted in direct seeing from deep stillness, out in the sea beyond gods. To see, to him, even heavenly beings are part of samsara. bound by karma, eventually fading. Perceived how being is conditioned by their actions, manifest in various forms and realms, from fleeting human lives to grander celestial existences, each a temporary dwelling shaped by past choices. Describes seeing thousands of world systems, each with beings, heaven and hell, shaped by causes and conditions. This was an aesthetic blueprint dictated from above, but a dynamic self-organizing system where universal laws manifested through every intention and deed. Hmm. This, maybe I should read that last sentence again. This wasn't a static blueprint dictated from above, but a dynamic, self organizing system where universal laws are manifested through every intention and deed. This way of seeing isn't denial, it's understanding. Understanding comes from not from imagining a hidden hand, but from seeing the links that causes the conditions. The beauty of this cosmos lies not in a fixed design, but in its ever unfolding interconnected nature. In Buddhism, the universe isn't a pyramid with one god at the top. It is a field of seeds and fruits. Karma is the soil. Actions are the seeds, and results grow naturally by connection. There's no judgment from an eternal deity, only the natural unfolding of consequences. Much like how an acorn inevitably grows into an oak, given the light conditions. One lies often, they shape a certain mind, certain results. Kindness and wisdom brings other results. These results form not just personal experiences, but the kind of world we live in. Hmm. Thus, even human realms aren't fixed. We rise or fall based on how we live. This isn't reward or punishment, but simple cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action casts a ripple, collectively weaving the fabric of existence, shaping not just our destiny, but the very nature of the realms we inhabit. This perspective also explains why the Buddha never focused on the universe's beginning. Asking where it started is like asking where a circle begins or a flame jumps. Such questions pull the mind outward into speculation. The Buddha's teaching turns the mind inward into observation. He deemed these questions not wrong, but unhelpful for the path to peace. He revealed a universe that is a living, breathing process, always responding, always transforming, a grand symphony, conditioned existence. This profound insight offered a path not to intellectual mastery of cosmology, but to a liberation grounded in seeing reality as it truly is. Waking from the cosmic dream. Chapter 4. Waking from the cosmic dream. This isn't to say that science and cosmic study have no value. There's something beautiful in how both Buddhism and science seek to understand the world without clinging to a single creator. Einstein's awe at the universe being comprehensible because the Buddha's seeing deep order. While scientists use formula, the Buddha used meditation. Physics studies space and time. Buddhism studies intention, perception, and craving. Both paths can lead to a profound respect for how things work. Yet the Buddha's ultimate concern transcended mere intellectual understanding of cosmic laws. He sought not just to comprehend the universe, but to find a way out of its endless cycles of suffering. But the Buddha didn't stop at awe. He went further, teaching how to move beyond the cycles themselves. He compared the universe to a dream. We can marvel at a dream's beauty, but real freedom comes from when we wake up. So he didn't ask, what is the dream made of? He asked, what keeps us dreaming? What keeps us dreaming? What keeps us dreaming? This awakening is not an escape from reality, but a profound seeing of reality as it truly is, free from the distortions of ego and attachment. It is a liberation from the illusion of a separate self. Liberation from the illusion of a separate self. Liberation from the illusion of a separate self. Interesting. This doesn't have the word self capitalized. So maybe it's a separate selfhood, individual self. A self that is constantly building and rebuilding worlds of experience through its desires and fears. For him, the answer was craving, the desire that pulls us into forms, identities, worlds. When craving ends, the wheel stops. The world as we know it fades. This means nothing left to chase. No identity, no identity to defend, no ground to stand on. Just peace. This peace is not a void, but a boundless clarity. Freedom from the very forces that perpetuate the cosmic dance. Mhm. The Buddha's view of the universe wasn't small or cold, it was vast and alive, full of layers and motion. But always brought the focus back. So, does this help us to wake up? I'll be right back. I'm telling the dog I'll be back. Guess I'm gonna take a moment to bring in the trash can from outside to inside the garage. Oh. Let's see. Let's see who's calling me. I need to put a ringtone. Oh. Um, hmm, 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 Look, I painted this, but I'm not done. Let me move this over here. No, I have only 2%. This phone is gonna shut down soon. Shut down, shut down. Mhm. Okay, where was I? I got the little task done of bringing in the trash can inside, well, into the garage. Now I can bring down the garage door. Mm. Okay, now, okay, so where was I? So, what keeps us dreaming? This awakening is not an escape from reality, but a profound seeing of reality as it truly is, free from the distortions of ego and attachment. It's a liberation from the illusion of a separate self, constantly building and rebuilding worlds of experience through its desires and fears. For him, the answer was craving, the desire that pulls us into forms, identities, worlds. When craving ends, the wheel stops. The world as we know it fades. Mm. This means nothing left. Nothing is left to chase. No identity to defend. No ground to stand on. Just peace. This peace. It's not a void, but a boundless clarity, a freedom from the very forces that perpetuate the cosmic dance. The Buddhist view of the universe wasn't small or cold, it was vast and alive, full of layers and motion, but he always brought the focus back. Does this help us wake up? Does this help us wake up? Does this help us wake up? What I am doing, is it helping me wake up? The Buddha knew understanding the cosmos means little if we're still caught in greed, hatred, and confusion. Greed, hatred, and confusion. So the true journey then is not across galaxies, but within the subtle movements of our own mind. Understanding how our own internal conditions give rise to our experience of the world, we gain the power to reshape that experience moment by moment. So rather than pointing to a creator or a blueprint, he pointed to the present moment, this breath, this feeling, this thought, saying, look here, see clearly. That's where the real mystery opens. And look here, see clearly. So, not just see clearly, think clearly, right? Wake up and think clearly. I added that phrase, wake up, think clearly, but that's not in the text. So he's been saying, or he said, to look here, look at what's happening and see clearly what's happening. The present moment and the present space, you could say. The present moment would be now, and the present space would be this breath, this feeling, this thought. Very close to our heart, what's happening. That's where the real mystery opens, not in the sky, but in the mind that watches the sky. The universe reveals its deepest truths not through external limit explanations,
but through the inner stillness of a liberated heart. A liberated heart. Inner stillness. Liberated. The real answer from external questions to inner freedom. Chapter 5, the real answers from external questions to inner freedom. What? In every age, seekers, skeptics, and believers find themselves wrestling with the same profound inquiry. Some are sure there is a creator, others none, and some simply wonder. When these questions reached the Buddha, he listened not just to words, but to the underlying need for meaning, peace, direction. His reply began there, not in theories, but in understanding the questioner's heart. He saw that despite different beliefs, a common thread unites all humanity: the desire to alleviate suffering by genuine content. The desire to alleviate suffering and find genuine contentment. He knew behind who made the universe was a deeper longing to understand why life feels as it does, why we hurt, fear, hope. So instead of a grand cosmic explanation, the Buddha gently redirected: "You are suffering. Let's look here." This isn't avoidance, it's addressing the real question. Even if a God created the universe, we still get sick, age, die, and feel lost. So the Buddha asked, what will free you from that? This radical shift in focus turns the entire spiritual quest from an external search for answers into an internal journey of transformation. He said, I teach only one thing: suffering and the end of suffering. Not to deny the stars' beauty, but because their origin doesn't solve inner ache. Not to reject curiosity, but to point inward to where understanding begins. The universe in this light becomes a profound teacher, constantly demonstrating the principles of impermanence and interdependence. And that is why, in the Buddhist way, the question shifts. Not who made this, but what now? What will I do with this life? How will I respond to pain, joy, and change? It's the work of awakening where clarity lives. Some still wonder, but what if there is a creator, maybe beyond all we can know? To that, Buddhism offers no debate, only stillness. A quiet space where even big questions can soften. The mind finds its own center, no longer needing external certainties to feel secure. This profound peace arises not from intellectual answers, but from a deeper release of attachments. As the Buddha himself taught, when the mind is still, the world becomes clear. When the wisdom is born, the need for a creator fades. And because it is denied, but because you no longer cling to the question. This is an invitation to experience reality directly, to inhabit the moment fully, and to discover an unshakable peace that arises from within. In this quiet scene, we simply perceive the universe as it is, always moving, always arising, always dissolving. Just like a wave that doesn't need a sculptor because it was never separate from the ocean. Hmm. Ultimately, we all long to understand this universe. Some seek a god, some seek logic, some just seek peace. Buddhism, in its profound wisdom, doesn't shame belief. nor does it demand rejection. It simply offers a path to see clearly, to live fully in each moment, and to let go gently. The fundamental question then is not who made this. It transforms into can I wake up and live with love, clarity, and freedom? Can I wake up and live with love, clarity, and freedom? Can I wake up and live? Oh, maybe put that wake up and live with love, clarity, and freedom. This path, though it calls for patience, courage, and consistent practice, is always available. The its ultimate source is not in the sky, but within the boundless potential of your own heart. Boundless potential, your own heart. Boundless potential. The boundless potential. Um, mhm. Well, so there is a website. Let's see if I can find it. See if I can find it on this book, this phone. Let's look it up. Let's see. Mo this Sata this Nara. Oops. Maybe I got script paid for. Hmm. Oh, this is short. And the direct perception of truth, freedom from the all. Oh, oof. Oh, there's total freedom. Mm, is that the whole book? Oh, it's just 2 pages. Oh, see what about this one? Total freedom. Number 73. Anyway, again, uh, I was trying to find a website. I got distracted. Scrib. See if I can back to search. Oh, hmm, but that's in Malay. Malay. Nataraja.org. There's a website, natarajaguru.org. So the Amopadesha Shatakam, the most important purely philosophical work of Guru in the Malayalam language. Guru dictated this to his disciples Sivalinga Swami and Chaitanya Swami while camping at Aruvipuram, 1897, almost 1900. This work expounds the philosophy of Advaita in his own original way, as an Upanishadic rishi of the age of science. Originally, the work consisted of 114 verses and was named Atma-Bodham. Guru himself later edited the entire text, reducing the number of verses to 100 without losing any content of the ideas, but giving more precision and depth to them. First, it was serialized in the Vivekodayam monthly under different subheadings and was first published as a book in March 1917 from the Advaita Ashram, Aluva. The original Malayalam text is set in the meter Mrgendra Mukam. Oh, there's the Malayalam, and there's the transliteration, and there's the meaning. And then there's the editor's notes and comments. So that's the first verse. Let's see if there's a verse. Next verse. Oh, well, you can go to any verse you want. Oh, very good. Arivilumeri tu nava tanu viru tu puratum vaikum karuvinu kanaka jum ter Painting the core reality that transcends all ordinary knowledge, that irradiates both as the apparent form of the knower in all objects external at the same time, requires the turning inwards of all five senses, accompanied by repeated prostrations, reading, chanting, and mastering scriptures. The present. According to Nataraja Guru, this verse serves as a contemplative hymn guiding seekers towards self-realization. Emphasizes a transcendental reality that surpasses ordinary knowledge. Simultaneously present both within the knower in and in the external world. This core reality, which the Guru refers to as the self, is not confined by subjective or objective distinctions, but exists as an all-encompassing luminosity beyond dualistic limitations. The phrase rising even above knowledge alludes to the necessity of surpassing intellectual understanding to attaining true wisdom. Nataraja Guru connects this with the Platonic distinction between the visible and intimate realms, as well as with Kantian categories such as the immanent and transcendent, a priori and a posteriori. He also references Upanishadic classifications of knowledge, Paravidya, higher knowledge, Aparavidya, lower knowledge. Lower. The Guru suggests that as one approaches wisdom, the apparent knower and the known, much like light and its sources merge into a single effulgence, the phrase as equally without highlights the unitive nature of this reality, which neither exists solely within nor without, but rather permeates all existence. This echoes the modern philosophical discussions, such as those of Bertrand Russell's neutral monism, Spinoza's idea of a thinking substance that does not depend on external validation. Thinking substance. In Vedantic traditions, this unitive understanding finds parallels in Ramanuja's Vishishta Advaita and in the concept of para apara, which recognizes an ultimate reality transcending dualistic classifications. To that core refers to the very essence of existence, which in Malayalam is termed karu. Nataraja associates it with Aristotle's unmoved mover, the fundamental source of all activity. This core is not a mere biological or material nucleus, but the functional basis of consciousness itself. It is the point where outward directed impulses meet inward contemplation, representing the synthesis of horizontal, empirical, and vertical transcendental objects of reality, with the eyes restrained within, suggesting withdrawal of sensory distractions to attain higher contemplation. The five senses, when engaged outward, create a cycle of desire, an activity that prevent true introspection. The Guru compares this to the discipline required in pure mathematics, where emotional or external influences must be set aside to maintain clarity of thought. This disciplined withdrawal aligns with the classical yogic approach to self realization, reinforcing the importance of directing one's awareness in. One should chant. Does not imply an obligatory religious act, but rather a method of attunement, the absolute. Attunement to the absolute. Nataraj clarifies that true philosophy, as found in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, is free from constraints of ritualistic obligation. Yet, in this verse, the Guru unifies philosophy and religious practice, much like the integration of Vedantic wisdom with Vedic traditions. Chanting in this context is not mere recitation, but a dynamic engagement with the absolute. So chanting in this context is not mere recitation, but a dynamic engagement with the absolute, where exaltation and understanding merge. Ultimately, this verse establishes the foundational principle that self-realization is not an intellectual pursuit alone, but requires wholehearted devotion, discipline, and a unitive perspective that dissolves dualities. By prostration in adoration, not as an act of submission, but as an alignment with the highest human value. One attains the transcendental self beyond the paradoxes of logic and perception. Wow. Woo! Wow. And that was just verse 1. So if we go tap on this and we go to verse 2 and look at it briefly, and there's editor's notes. Oh, nice. Verse 3. Right. See any more commentary coming. Let's go to verse 10. Let's go to verse 20. Oh, let's go to verse 8. It's an important one, I think. See, verse 21. Oh, boy. Let's see, verse 24. Maybe I'm on verse 24. I don't know. I'll have to find out some other time. So I'm gonna uh stop broadcasting on Zoom and oh, look at me. Oh, let's see. Stop sharing and turn on the video. I'm back on my bed. I was going through the Atmo-Gita Shatakam. Found a website. It's pretty interesting. So, uh, in about what did I call it? Atmo-Gita, where I am and where I'm going. Oh, because I wanted to get into the Gita also, but I didn't get to it. So, there, didn't get much done. Oh, so bad. It's hard to get something done. Done, done, done. So, may you get something done. Well, whatever I got done was something.